I would like to briefly reflect on the state of public debate in the Netherlands, because the way we speak with each other, and especially about each other, determines the quality of our democracy. Because increasing polarization hardens the conversation and makes people less and less willing to truly listen to one another. And because a society in which camps are pitted against each other ultimately does not become stronger, but rather more vulnerable to distrust, oversimplification, and dehumanization. Last week, the newspapers were filled with articles about Forum for Democracy. Here in the House of Representatives as well, journalists found our candidates for the municipal elections more interesting than substantive reporting on the state of our country. Forum for Democracy is participating in 104 municipalities for the municipal elections on March 18, 2026, with 1,100 candidates across the country. The reason for the commotion is that, according to the media, a few of these more than 1,100 candidates are engaging in right-wing extremism, glorifying terrorism, or have been involved with activist groups. I will respond to that here and now because it pains me when our party is portrayed in such a negative light. Let me start by saying that Forum for Democracy does not support anti-democratic ideas in any way. We are staunchly opposed to any form of violence, hatred, or any kind of intolerance. Our election program is crystal clear about our plans for the Netherlands. There is nothing in it that could be called extremist or radical. However, it is very different from what the established parties want. But it is innovative, tough on immigration, principled about Dutch sovereignty, thorough on climate and nitrogen issues, and relentless against the waste of taxpayers' money. But it is none of the things that have been attributed to us over the past week. What bothers me is that, in the attempt to cast FVD in a bad light, character assassination is being committed against some of our candidates, and by extension, against our other 1,100 municipal candidates and everyone involved in our party. The reason I am addressing this personally is not out of a need to defend myself, but because the level to which the debate has sunk calls for a principled response. Normally, I mainly focus on leading our parliamentary group and on the many debates in the House of Representatives. That already keeps me more than busy. Every day, we fight for a halt to endless immigration, for the abolition of the unaffordable and senseless climate and nitrogen policies, for lower taxes, for reclaiming our sovereignty, and for more democracy. First of all, I found some of the jokes I saw going around to be downright tasteless. I would never have made those myself. Nevertheless, I believe that all Dutch people should be free to make any jokes they want. From New Year's Eve cabaret shows to comedy nights, from group chats to an evening at the pub. In addition, some messages are more substantive in nature, expressing views that our party does not support. I have two things to say about that. First of all, these messages were mostly sent by young people, almost 10 years ago. It's part of the normal process of growing up for many young people to try out and discuss radical viewpoints. That's what young people are known for. It doesn't mean that they will hold exactly the same views for the rest of their lives. Take Paul Rosenmuller from GroenLinks, for example, who admired the Cambodian dictator Pol Pot in his youth and is now the parliamentary leader for GroenLinks PVDA in the Senate. Should we assume that he still thinks the same way? And if so, why isn't this brought up to the GroenLinks parliamentary group during the election campaign? Or Jesse Klaver, in whose office at the GroenLinks youth organization, while he was chairman there, all the components for making a bomb, complete with a detonating mechanism, were found. Especially when you consider the fact that the radicals within GroenLinks are often linked to genuinely violent and terrorist organizations. But will this haunt him for the rest of his life? Take Sumaya Sahla, for example, who in her youth was a member of the Hofstad Group, was convicted for illegal possession of weapons and membership in a terrorist organization, and later worked for the FVD. In the case of the few candidates who are currently causing a stir, however, it is not about possessing explosives or being a member of a terrorist organization. No, in their case, it's not about violence or preparing for it, but about having sent a text message, or about briefly being a member of a, yes, rather reprehensible organization many years ago. What a contrast! This is why I have decided not to respond substantively to the accusations directed at our party. Some of our candidates made inappropriate jokes 7 years ago. Others may have been members of GroenLinks or Antifa 7 years ago. People change. By running as candidates for FVD, our candidates commit themselves to our party line and choose to dedicate themselves to the hard and essential work that we do every day. Secondly, and even more importantly, the manufactured outrage over a handful of years-old messages or activities from a very small number of our more than 1,100 candidates distracts from the real problems and dangers that Dutch people face. Because why does the NOS News open with outrage about private app messages from almost 10 years ago, and not with the fact that Somalis commit sexual offenses more than 20 times as often as Dutch people? Or why don't the talk shows discuss the lack of safety that young women experience as a result of the asylum seekers center near their neighborhood? And why aren't the newspapers filled with the consequences of the unaffordable energy transition? Those are the problems that Dutch people are dealing with. Yes, that's what's at stake in the upcoming elections. In these areas, I am fighting together with my parliamentary group and soon over 100 municipal council groups for the future and well-being of the Dutch people. That is why I want to address the voters. Would you rather vote for a party with which you agree 80 to 100%, but where somewhere on a list for a local election there might be a single candidate who sent an inappropriate message 10 years ago? Or would you rather vote for a party with which you agree 40%, but which, in a decent manner, contributes to the steady dismantling of our prosperity, security, and freedom? That choice is yours. And that is why I am also addressing the Dutch press, because I have seen caricatures of myself that are truly downright disgusting. I was depicted as a Nazi figurehead on a ship. Rats were hung around my neck. Things are being written about me and our party that are absolutely outrageous. That's the pot calling the kettle black. I want to remind the media of their responsibility to safeguard the dignity of public debate, focusing on substance rather than suspicion and demonization. A society like ours is fragile. Freedoms are vulnerable. A substantive debate is more necessary than ever. The differences are significant, the challenge is enormous. Our country needs substance, factual discussions, and above all, real change. On March 18th, the Netherlands can make an important choice. Let's go for it together as one.